Welcome to the season 2 of Under the Hood. I'm Tien. I'm not gonna be your host this season because we got somebody new here. His name is Akinola. Hello, Akinola.
Hey Tien, what's going on? It's nice to be on the show. Hopefully, I use this as an opportunity to learn more about Rogue as a brand and how they're doing in the LEC. And I think it's going to be a learning experience for everyone, whether you're a old school Rogue fan or you're just learning about the org for the first time. It should be a lot of fun. Um,
Can you maybe tell in one or two sentences who you are, what your history is with League of Legends, and maybe
yeah, sure.
what your position is here at Rogue?
Yeah, so people might know me more for making TLDR patch notes and making League of Legends content back in 2013. I did that for a few years, and then I was able to do a couple of broadcasts for Riot Games in 2016, the spring and summer split finals. And yeah, I do esports hosting on and off camera, and I am doing some social media stuff for Rogue. So I got started in esports a little while ago, and I'm still involved today. So the train keeps going along.
Nice. We also have Finn here, sitting across of me. Hi, Finn.
Hello, Luciana.
But before we start with him, I think we need to finish a tradition that we always had in the last season. Finn, do you remember what we did always at the beginning of the
Yeah,
episode?
the 10 rapid questions.
So yeah, do you want to ask him the 10 quick questions? Actually,
Sure, I can do it. If you give me the paper.
I'll let you host it.
Okay, Akinola. Are you ready for your 10 quick questions or not?
I guess I have no choice here.
You have
we're
no
doing
choice.
this live.
I am sorry.
Let's do it.
What is your favorite food and drink?
Favorite food, steak. Favorite drink, half unsweetened iced tea, half lemonade.
Half unsweetened iced tea, half lemonade. That's very specific. What's the deal with this drink? I've never drinking it.
It's called a half and half in America,
Yeah?
and it's I don't know. There's just something about mixing unsweetened iced tea and lemonade. Some people like the full flavor of both, but because I'm trying to keep my weight down, it's a nice more calorie friendly drink. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just an American Southern thing that seems to have worked its way all over America. So I like it.
Yeah.
Isn't it a golf thing? I think it's named after a golf player.
Yeah, it's called an Arnold Palmer,
Oh.
named after a famous golfer, and it's like an official soft drink here.
Yeah, we should try it, Finn. It's actually really good. I tried it before in the US.
Yeah.
It is
Actually,
good.
It actually sounds so good. I want to try it now.
Okay, next time.
Okay. Who is your favorite League of Legends champion?
My favorite League of Legends champion is Renekton. I'm playing him for a while, and I actually just got Mastery 7 on him a month ago. So I'm not good at him, but I like him a lot.
Yeah, I highly approve of that choice.
Thank you.
Renekton is so fun. Such a lane bully. So this is what you love the most about being a professional esports host.
I like being able to interact with people, whether it's someone in a crowd or watching on Twitch. I think the best moment I have from doing something like that is when I introduce the players for the NA Summer Split Finals in Canada. Just seeing all of the people in the crowd, I'll never forget it. And it makes me want to keep doing that stuff more. Like I want to see and do that stuff in front of European crowd, like the crowd when they do it in France or Spain. Like you guys, EU gets crazy. So it'd be an honor to do something like that one of these days. But you guys have some strong broadcast talent over there. So I gotta work my way up. So maybe I'll announce some players for Rogue if they get to the playoffs this season.
All right, I'll do my best to make sure that can happen.
No pressure.
But that sounds like you want to move to the EU, Akinola.
Well, if I got to go to Berlin, then I mean I'll do what I have to. All right, all for the love of the game.
Jumping the ship, LCS and maybe the US, but that's a different topic.
Yeah,
keep going.
And on the other side of the coin, what do you hate the most about being a professional esports host?
People online can be very critical. The people who have no experience dealing with what you're doing from day to day, sometimes are the loudest voices. So they say some really stupid things, and depending on your mental fortitude, it might get to you. Luckily, I've learned over the years that I should take advice and criticism from my peers, people in the industry, rather than some random person on Twitter with 2 followers. And it's worked out a lot better for my mental health as a result.
Yeah, I think I can relate to that as well. There's a lot of people are very quick to jump the hate train as soon as you start performing poorly.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you just need to learn to not listen to them because they have no clue what they're talking about in reality.
No, they're dumb. It's stupid.
Yeah. Okay. So you can morph into a League of Legends champions in real life for one day. Which champion would you choose and why?
For one day? Oh, that's a... These are what type of questions are you guys thinking of over
so
there?
good.
All right, if I could be a League of Legends champion, any champion for one day, I'd probably be oh man, this is hard. I'd probably be Zed. Being able to move through the shadows. I think anything with ninjas is really cool. And though I can't play Zed really well, I've always liked his look and feel and aesthetic as a champion. So I think, no one would ever mess with me. I've got these giant blades on my arms and I could, appear behind you out of nowhere and end you in like 2 seconds. This is too violent. We can cut this out of the podcast. But no,
I think I'll keep my social distancing if I saw you then.
Yeah, right. That'd be Zed.
It's a good match. Okay. And what's your favorite game of all time?
Of all time,
Yeah.
it's not League of Legends, though it's my most played. But I'd probably say my favorite game of all time is probably Streets of Rage 2 for the Sega Genesis. That game came out probably in I think 91, 92, and it was one of the first games that I played as a little kid that I was able to understand. It's just a beat 'em up game, side scroller. You're throwing trash cans and pipes and knives and a whole bunch of different weapons at bad guys to try and save the streets from evil. Not a particularly deep game, but it had music that was way ahead of its time with the Genesis's sound system. And I met the composer once at a convention. So it's always a game that I'll never get tired of playing, because it reminds me so much of when I was like just getting into different genres of games.
You're the first person to not say League of Legends on this podcast, by the way.
Really? I have a love and hate relationship with League of Legends. Like, don't get me wrong, I love League and I've gotten a lot of great opportunities because of it, but I just spent so much time with it. It's probably my second favorite game, but not my first, not by a long shot.
Yeah. Keep going, Finn.
Okay. And what's your favorite music genre?
Genre. So I really enjoy video game instrumentals. I know that sounds weird, but I grew up listening to a lot of hip hop and rap, and while I still appreciate that type of music, a lot of the stuff they play on the radio is the same. So I've spent a lot of time playing video games and just themes and melodies from like The Legend of Zelda or Metroid. A lot of games I've spent 20, 30, 40, 50 hours playing. It's like I'm hearing these tunes all over again. So if we're hanging out, you'll probably hear me just listening to music with no lyrics whatsoever, but it's probably 99% going to be from a video game.
When you say Legend of Zelda, you mean Ocarina of Mask or which game?
It'd be Majora's Mask. That's my favorite Legend of Zelda game.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel the same. You kind of get back into the feeling of when you're playing the game, when you listen to all this music.
Exactly. And there's just something really like magical about video game music. All over the years we've played all of these different games, League, and even our very first video game. And somehow they're always coming up with new music that really fits the game, that doesn't really sound super similar to what you were playing beforehand. And that stuff makes me go crazy. So yeah, video game music through and through.
Yeah. Maybe for non-gamers, it's similar to like movie soundtracks. I mean,
yeah,
if you just listen like 2 seconds of like Lord of the Rings themes, you're directly back into the movie. So maybe that's a good example for non-gamers.
Yep. All right, I'll keep it going. Imagine you're stranded on a lonely island. What 3 items would you take with you?
Oh man,
you thought the questions were tough. This one is tough.
This is the toughest. All right, so I would take some sort of axe or machete to like chop things down so that I could, make things and defend myself. But I guess I'm alone on an island, but they're also dangerous animals, I'm going to assume. If we're talking about survival, or if it's just like it doesn't matter what you bring, like I would probably bring some sort of camping tent to make sure that I don't. Here's the thing: I don't really do good with the outside. So if this actually had to happen, I think I would just be screwed.
Yeah, me too.
I'm all about staying inside. So I'd bring like a tent or something like that. And the third thing I'd probably bring is, I don't know, some sort of fishing net, because I assume I'm gonna have to get in the water and fish for something. Oh yeah, it wouldn't be very good news for me. It wouldn't last a day.
Yeah, I mean, but Finn actually gave a good answer back to his episode, which was episode 1. Actually.
What did he answer?
So wait, we're starting season 1 and season 2 with you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do
Actually,
you
I don't remember what I
answered?
said. What did I say?
Something to filter water, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
Was it a pocket knife?
Yeah.
Like, so you have different
some kind of knife, which is smart, I think,
Yeah.
and then some kind of water filter, so you can kind of get drinkable
and
water.
the third one, oh yeah, some kind of plastic plate or something like that that you can put above your shelter so it doesn't rain into it.
Yeah.
I think that was the third one.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, you didn't do too bad. I mean, Casper / Inspired, he wanted to bring a computer, and I was like, you don't have internet and electricity.
Yeah, where are you gonna plug it in?
But yeah, so yeah, you would survive longer than some of the other peers here.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes me feel good.
How many questions do you have left? Phil?
I have one more question.
Last one.
It's the last one.
Very
All right.
important. Which key is the best for Flash? D or F?
F for Flash.
Exactly.
No.
That's very good.
D
Very
for
good
dash.
answer, Akinola.
Yeah, thank you. Did I pass?
You pass.
Yeah. Thanks, Finn. I think you did a phenomenal job hosting.
Yeah, we should get you on here more often, man.
No. I
We
need
should
to
make
play.
it a Finn podcast.
No,
Hey,
please.
you just host the whole podcast. That would be perfect. But we actually should do it with you interviewing one of your teammates. I think
I
that
can
would
do
be fun.
that. That would be fun, actually.
But yeah, Akinola, you don't know, but I had like these 10 quick questions for the other players. It actually says like, what do you love the most about being an esports player? And he just adjusted on the fly and changed it to host. So big props to him.
Wow.
I think you've got a future in hosting, Finn. I wouldn't give it up yet.
I'm just a gamer. I don't know.
All right, Akinola, this is your show now. So what do you want to do?
All right, so I guess Finn, I wanted to talk to you. We've never met.
No?
But I've been watching you for a bit, and I've been watching a lot more LEC in general, just with their production and their quality. It's like, why would I even watch LCS anymore? So this is where we're at. Now, you're a top laner. I'm a top laner.
Mm-hmm.
You're a lot better than me. I kind of wanted to ask you and pick your brain so that the plebs watching or listening could maybe learn a little bit about what it takes to become a better top laner. So in your opinion, what are some of the differences between playing top lane as a pro player, like in an organized 5-man squad, versus playing it in solo queue?
I mean, I think the thing with top lane in a competitive environment is that if your jungler is not going to play for you, you need to do everything you can to not die, right? Because you are playing on an island, you are playing on the weak side of the map, and you're not getting any help. But you don't want to look like someone that just loses everything. So it's about picking your fights very carefully and making sure you're falling behind and giving up what's necessary, but not falling too far behind, so that you're going to be useless in the game. And it's a very thin line to thread. And I think that's what really separates the good ones from the best ones, is that they manage to play aggressively enough that they can contest, while they also don't die and just overextend permanently.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, because I'm totally the type of person where if I die 3-4 minutes in, I'll rage TP back. I'll be like, all right, I'll play safe, and then I end up dying, and then that second death just puts you so far behind.
Yeah.
And if you don't get jungle help, it's awful. Do you feel like top lane has enough of a priority with Rift Herald to be to be looked at as an important lane, because the priority seems to be mid and bot with how important Dragon is and the amount of players down on the bottom side of the map. Like, do you think the lanes are even, or top is still a little on the neglected side?
I would say it's a bit neglected, mostly because of how early Dragon spawns and because of Rift Herald spawning at 8 minutes, meaning you can play the whole early game for bot lane, help them get the Dragon, and then when 8 minutes
Mhm.
spawns, you swap everything top, including the bot lane. And then the top lane is like, okay, I was just farming up here, but now I guess I'll run down bot and then do the same thing being alone here.
I
Uh,
see.
so maybe if they would make a really early game objective top side that would spawn around maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes, it could be a bit more interesting to see how it would evolve the top lane role. But as of now, I think it's still very bot lane focused.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how Riot's going to address that as the season goes on, because the way they balance for pro level play, high level play, and then all of the noobs at the bottom like me is really interesting. There never seems to be a perfect way to balance everything, so that it's still fun for people like you to play, but also still fun for people to spectate.
Yeah, but I mean, they did a pretty good job, right? For the last 10 years, I feel like you can't make everyone happy, right? But I think they or found a good balance so far. Maybe Finn, what do you think about that? How
Yeah, I
the
think
balancing is?
they've been given an impossible task, really, because it's impossible to do this flawlessly. But I think they're very open to feedback from pro players and the community, and they're very open to do what people want, right? So I think that helps, and they also know when to step in and say, "No, we want to do this." So I think they found a really good system to figure out the best changes.
Yeah, I think we're a bit spoiled in that regard, right? And I think for me, I really saw it when Valorant came out, right? And they patched it like after 1 and 2 weeks, and all the CS players is like, "What is this? Is this a patch?" And they listened to us. Um, so yeah, and I was like, "This is completely normal as a League of Legends player, right?" Um, but yeah, they were so shocked. There were like 4 or 5 Reddit threads while they are listening. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that a lot of players aren't used to from other games is how frequently Riot patches the game, whether it's in a good or bad direction. Um, and that's up to your interpretation, and then how communications are with high level players. Like, it's not hard to reach somebody in balance. They will clearly let you know whether something is game breaking or the data doesn't support people complaining at this elo or below or above. I'm kind of curious, without talking too much about team strategy, like, what do you feel, which top players do you feel are like super strong at the moment that are always a good pick for pro play?
For pro play, that's interesting because I think the if I would do a tier list for champions, the pro play one and the solo queue one would be like completely different at the top
Really?
rank. Yeah,
Why do you think so?
because I think there's a lot of champions that thrive in a solo queue environment where people don't pay as much attention and people are a bit more prone to tilt.
Yeah.
Champions like Darius, Tryndamere, Jax, where if you get rolling, the enemy can't really do anything anymore. And it's kind of easy to get rolling as well in a way if you take ghosts. I think these champions are extremely strong in solo queue, but in a team environment, it's very easy to shut them down. While it's in a team environment, yeah, I'm saying a lot of team environment, but in a competitive setting, then the champions that you want to play as a top laner usually are the ones that you can play through, you can help,
Mhm.
but are also fine playing alone because it gives you way more flexibility on the map to not being forced to go to one lane. Champions like Ornn, Gangplank, Set, Aatrox, these champions that are all fine just farming up, scaling up, and being useful later, but also really good at fighting early, assuming your jungler is around you. It,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I let's talk about Ornn for a little bit. So I know Ornn, he seems like kind of an overloaded champion. Early game he's not really doing much, but the utility that he offers in a team fight and for himself, and the pumped up items every time his R is up, like there's some sort of crazy wombo combo going. Is actually going through comms this week, and the first game that you played versus I think it was Excel,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was the perfect game that you guys had. Nobody died, which is always good to see. And after you push an inhibitor, you guys made the choice to just turn. You went back under their blue side jungle. They're like, all right, they're going to go for dragon. No, we're just going to turn because we're so ahead. And everybody just comes out with all their abilities. How does it feel playing a playmaking champion like Ornn? Like you know that you're putting a whole bunch of fear into the enemy team when that giant goat just comes across the map.
Yeah.
How does it feel playing champions like that?
I like playing Ornn a lot. I feel like I have a lot of agency on the map. And I also feel like no matter what my team chooses to do, whether they play around me or not, I'll always find a way to be really useful in fights. So it's a kind of safety playing the champion. And as you said, I think in this situation it's really good. But I think the best thing about the champions is the threat of the engage.
Mhm.
You don't really always need to instantly engage when people walk up. You just need to hold it and wait for the perfect timing, because then they get way more wary. If they walk up and you don't engage, then they're like shaking a bit because they know you still have the ultimate up, so they feel a bit cautious to approach. But what was the question? I kind of got lost.
No. That was good. I basically was asking how it felt to play a playmaking champion like that, and I mean, you answered the question, so that's all good.
But going back to that, what you said about the perfect game. I mean, I saw the video on Twitter as well. It said like Rogue perfect gamed Excel,
Yeah.
but to me that wasn't a perfect game. I
Yeah.
mean, perfect game means to me turrets are all up. They didn't get any objectives like Herald or Dragon. How do you feel about people calling this now already a perfect game, Finn?
I mean, I don't agree that it was a perfect game. I think it was a pretty clean game from us. It was a good game. A perfect game, not at all. We made some mistakes this game. They got some turrets they shouldn't have gotten. There's still things to review that we did wrong. So I wouldn't really put it at a pedestal and call it perfect.
But yeah, I think we're gonna talk about the last week and the next week later on. So
Yeah, we won't get ahead of ourselves. I definitely want to ask some questions about how those games went. Just to wrap up the top lane section, which top laners do you think are kind of overtuned right now, and which top laners do you feel need a little help?
I think top lane right now is in a really good state, actually. I think there is not one champion that kind of rules the top lane, which often the metas become. There's usually a lot of powerful top laners. I mean, right now there's a lot of strong top laners, but there's no oppressive ones. You can play a lot of different champions if you have practiced it. Into like every champion right now has a lot of answers if you practice them, but they're also fine just being blind picked. So I don't think I would choose to nerf any top laner specifically, except for maybe Tryndamere and Arius, which run amok in my solo queue games, but not in my scrims. Those two champions, I would gladly see some changes to, especially Tryndamere. I hate the champion with a passion. The way he is all into level 2 and then prays for a crit. If it gets it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't work out.
Do you like Tryndamere? That's definitely an issue in solo queue. I've definitely been cheesed level 2 by getting crit for like a couple hundred damage when I wasn't expecting it, and I have all my summoners up, and it's really hard to react to that. And then even if you try and focus him in solo queue, he just splits all game. So I definitely feel your frustration.
Finn, did you play League already when AP Tryndamere was a big thing?
Yeah, I started playing season 1, so I've been around for most of the annoying things.
Did you like abuse AP Tryndamere back then? I was so fun.
No, I was a mid laner back then. I was playing Fizz every game.
Oh,
I don't know what's worse.
Tryndamere. It was the most fun. I mean, just heal like for infinite amount.
I played a lot of APG though. That was fun.
APG?
Yeah, AP must E.
Oh, I don't miss that at all. That actually made me like my heart sank a little bit when you said that, because
I was so bad back then, so that was the only way I could get like a lot of kills.
But I mean, we still see this kind of heal from Yumi, right? No?
Yeah,
right.
So they just built it in and then removed it from Yi and Tryndamere.
I hope that everybody watching, listening, got a little bit of insight to be a better top laner from a professional, this budding superstar here that we've got on Rogue. I kind of want to switch back into a little bit of a personal insight. You've been on Rogue for a year and a half now. I'm curious as to how it was like meeting your new teammates. What was it like finding your groove in the team? Like, yeah, you're going to play top, but how easy was it to get along with the other teammates and find a groove that worked for all of you?
So we met at the. We all went to this media day in Poland where we met the first time.
No, it wasn't a media day. It was Ultraliga Season 0 finals.
Okay, it was a final where we all met. One of our teammates, two of our teammates back then, was playing in the final against each others. But basically, we all met up, and I think at the beginning it was also a bit awkward. You don't really know what to say, how to approach people, but we kind of quickly found our groove together, and we kind of figured out that we were kind of similar in terms of humor. And in the first split we played from home, offline. I mean online. So it's not really the same environment in a team when you don't spend every hour with your teammates because you
Yeah.
practice together online via voice call, and then you go and do your own thing.
But most people don't know the first weeks that you guys scrimmed together. Larsen wasn't there, right? Can you tell that story? Maybe?
Actually, yeah. We didn't have our mid laner, Larsen, for the first 2 weeks, I think, because he was on a vacation in
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, I think, if I remember correctly back then. So
He was just enjoying himself.
yeah,
while you
he
were
was just
trying
chilling.
to-
When we were working hard, he was chilling.
But
Not really.
I mean, you can see how much we thought of him.
Yeah.
I mean, we let him join the team and then go directly on vacation.
But we actually did very well even without him. We were kind of connecting with the team quite well, even with playing with another mid laner. Didn't really hinder our growth, I think.
What about life before becoming a professional? I mean, at some point when you're playing League of Legends, you mentioned you've been playing since the game started, since season 1. At what point in your life did you realize, hey, I'm pretty good at this game. I could maybe be a pro one day?
I mean, it was very sudden to me because, I mean, as I have been playing for a long time, but I was playing only normal games with my friends. I was a very casual player for most of my time playing the game, except for like in season 6, where I was thinking maybe I should put a bit more emphasis on playing ranked, see how far I can go. Back then, I just chose the one trick, one champion. I just played this champion, and I hit challenger by the end of the split, the season. As I was a one trick back then, I didn't really think anyone would be interested in having me in the team. But I was still getting some offers due to being quite high on the ladder, and people didn't seem to care that I was a one trick. So that's when I actually got shocked, because before I even got my first offer, I was never even thinking about going pro. But as soon as that offer came, I was like starting to consider it a bit more. And then it kind of became like a side thing next to school, like a part-time job, so to say, where I would go to school during the day and then practice at the evening and then go to sleep and then do the same thing day in, day out. And play some tournaments here and there in Europe for fun. But it wasn't really anything serious until I decided that after I graduated high school, I'm just going to go full-time. Just try my luck, see how far I can go in 2 years. And if I don't make it to the top league in 2 years, I'm just going to quit and go back to studying.
And it worked out for you, clearly.
It did. I didn't really believe it would at start, but it did.
Why would you believe that it worked out? I mean, you've accomplished a lot for yourself. You're still a really young dude. There's still a lot for you to accomplish. There are a lot of people who are your age or approaching your age that are thinking about becoming a pro or thinking about that path to pro, not just in League of Legends, but a bunch of other esports. What are some lessons that you've picked up that, some words of wisdom that you can impart on our viewers here?
I mean, as I said, I was a one trick. I was not very good at the game. I could just play my thing. But I was blessed with a lot of really smart teammates that really helped me understand. I was very lucky in that sense that jumping around from team to team, I was learning a lot from my different teammates, especially my first split after I graduated. I had 4 very experienced and good teammates that really helped me grow faster. But I think if you're trying to go pro, I think it's important to just know that it might work out, it might not work out. So don't sacrifice things that are important to you outside of the life that you want to reach, like school and relations. because for me it was always important to have a backup if it didn't work out, which was my graduation. But then again, some people have the immense amount of talent and confidence that it will work out. So if you want to go for it, just go for it. Honestly, I'm not gonna stop you.
Looking back at all your teammates, which teammate helped you the most, like to grow?
I mean, when I played in Spain, as I said, I think the whole team, but especially my mid laner and support back then, Hatrix and Cly, really. It wasn't really as much in game as it was outside of game. They really took care of me because it was my first time living outside of Sweden. I was just a young, shy kid coming to a new country, but they really made it easy for me to join the group and join the team without putting too much pressure on me.
They're also both Swedish, right?
Yeah, they were Swedish and Norwegian.
Yeah, and I could see that like Hatrix was assistant coach, I think.
Yeah.
For which team was it?
Mad Lions.
Mad Lions.
/ Splice.
So I could feel there was some kind of special relationship because I think every time you tried to find him and just talk to him a bit.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that you guys have like where the background was of this relationship.
Yeah.
But I always saw you finding him or searching for him and then just have like one or two sentences exchange.
Yeah.
But he's playing again, right?
Yes, he's back to playing in Excel Academy now in the UK League.
So you won't see him at LEC anymore if we go back to the studio.
Who knows? Maybe he'll get promoted. Maybe he's that good.
Back to the studio, you were talking about, we've had to deal with COVID-19, coronavirus, people having to change up their lifestyles. How has it affected you? How'd you guys live with it when you found out, we're going to have to play matches away from the studio? We're going to have to stay in isolation. How'd that work out for you?
It was shocking at first because we didn't really, we weren't prepared at all for it. We were just about to step into the shuttle towards the studio. We were all prepared for the game. We had finished our draft plans, and then it just, boom, it's cancelled, and we were feeling very empty, I think, at the day. Eventually, as the day passed, we were really unsure if we were even going to play or not, but I think we were all very calm and happy when we were told that we could still play the league online. Even though the first weeks of online we played very poorly, I think we were all just happy to keep being able to play, to keep practicing for something. Because if you just practice and don't really have a clear goal, it can feel really tiresome. But if you always know that you're practicing for something, and you're practicing for a game, you're practicing for a tournament, you're practicing for the worlds, I think it makes it so much easier for you.
Does it ever get tiring playing League? And by tiring, I mean, like, when I say something like that, I'm talking from like a solo queue perspective, where sometimes you play, the games don't go your way, you're frustrated, you need to take a break, otherwise you start to hate the thing that you love so much, that you put so much time into. Do you ever feel that way sometimes? And like, do you tilt?
I mean, some games are frustrating. I think everyone has frustrating games, but it's just important that that you don't just, but because you lost a really sad game just now, you shouldn't just rush into another game fast. You should. I think if you take a small break between every hard loss, I think it really makes it easier for you. Because in the end, I can't really stop playing. I need to keep playing. So I need to make sure I find a way that I can keep playing without putting too much stress on my mental.
I've been very fortunate to be able to like listen to your comms as I was listening to earlier, and you guys seem to have a lot of fun on game days. The amount of chatter that goes back and forth, the banter, some of the things is really, really hilarious. And people are going to be able to see that on the YouTube channel soon. Make sure you're subscribed, by the way. What would you say are the favorite parts of playing with your team? Like, you seem to get along with everybody, and not everyone has the luxury of saying that. So what's your favorite thing about playing professionally with your other 4 teammates?
I think just the sort of like satisfaction when you feel like you mesh really well together, when you feel like all 5 play on the same page. It's really satisfying. Where we make a really good play, everyone is involved, and we just keep the flow going, and it all feels natural. It just it feels like nothing can stop you, that you can beat anyone when you're playing like this, and it gives such a boost to everyone around you in terms of energy, because you just feel like you can keep going. The sky's the limit, and you're doing this with 4 other people, and yeah, I don't know how to describe it more than that.
But Akinola, you said you had the fortunate opportunity, right, to hear the comps. So for me, I've been listening to comps for maybe like 4 or 5 years straight. So I don't know how it is differently. But I would be interested in your view. Like, what was like one thing that surprises you when you were listening to it that you didn't think of when you were watching the cast only?
You guys don't curse as much as I thought you would, which is surprising. When we play flex queue with my friends, there's a lot of cursing, not because we want to curse. That's just because that's how we are. Like if we make a good play, like yo, let's effing go. Like we pop off and get excited and things like that. But you guys are very professional on the comms, which was that was nice to see. And you guys are somehow able to parse what is being said to each other without losing it in translation. Everybody just, I don't know how you guys deal with, like, it seems like too much at one time, but you guys are professionals. This is what you get paid for. So I get lost among all the talking. I see the flashy play and I see everybody yelling and getting hype, and that makes me really, really happy to see, because you don't really see that with traditional sports. I think that's a great thing about esports. They figure out the play beforehand, they do the play, everyone cheers, but being in the thick of the moment, because it's not something that happens quickly. This is over 5, 10, 20, 30-second period where it can make or break the match. Speaking of which, who's the designated shot caller on the team? Who's controlling the pace of the game when doing objectives and stuff like that?
We don't really have a designated shot caller. I think all 5 players have the role to play. Usually, the person that's strong in the game, the person that's giving the resources, step up more and talk more. For example, in the games this weekend, I think Hans Steven was a fantastic shot caller. He was very vocal about what he wanted to do and very dominant in his calls, which is something that I didn't really expect him to be before playing with him. He seemed like this shy little kid, but he was very dominant and very vocal in the calls this weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading his bio, and he was the designated, quiet player. So was that really like something you weren't expecting when he stepped up and started kind of just going crazy?
I mean, I think when he gets into his hype zone, then he starts talking a lot, and I think it's really nice to have, because he knows exactly what he wants to do, and he kind of gets everyone on the same page. Because when he's strong, we're playing around him, so we're just following him into the death.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this storyline that people always try to push is like Hans Sama can't shot call. He needs a support that shot calls for him. But I feel like this is not the case if you listen to it. I mean, if he's strong, he will call, I need this, I need that.
Yeah.
Go there. Leave the farm for me. I'm gonna carry. I'm really strong now. Don't do anything. I'm just gonna carry. So I don't know how we're gonna crush this storyline, because I feel like he's also really smart about the game, right? Based on
Yeah.
his experience. I mean, he's 21, I think now, but has an experience as a veteran. And he puts in the work. I mean, he sits here, listens to all the comms from scrims, makes notes. Not saying that the others don't do that, but I think he does an extra step to step up for the team, especially this split, because last split, I mean, he was a new guy coming in, trying to see how it works. But I feel like this year he really tries to take it over and like make this team better than they can be. Is that something that you experience as well, Finn? Or
Yeah, I think this split everyone is kind of more hungry, because last split really didn't go as well as you wanted to. And I think we all realize that we need to work way harder if we actually want to go to Worlds and show a good performance. It's not gonna come just by us playing like we always do. We need to really do the things that give us an edge, I think, and not just spam solo queue and play scrims, and then that's all. You need to do all the other small things that kind of put you ahead of the game.
The first 3 games that you guys played were really good. You solidified your position at the top of the charts. with Fnatic. But now you're going to have some harder matches next week. You know, you're going against Fnatic, you're going against G2, I think, in a couple weeks.
No, we play Vitality on Friday and G2
Right.
on Saturday.
Yeah.
Those top teams are the ones that gave you the most trouble. So are you guys working hard to make sure that, you know, you're on top of your A game? Like what has to change this split compared to last split?
I think just our cohesion. I think it's getting better because last split we were sometimes not on the same page. We were sometimes getting a bit lost in what we had to do. But I think right now we have more structure and direction in our playstyle. I think this will help against the better teams, and I think we won't falter as much as we did last split versus Origin G2 Fnatic, where we never beat them once.
But just looking back at on the 3 games compared to last year, I felt a different confidence coming from you guys, even against like weaker opponents. If you would rank them before the season, they're not like really weak opponents and more like our competitors for playoff spots, which is really good that we beat them. But last split, I had the feeling that our confidence was completely different if we went against the top teams. Like you could almost say we were a bit scared. But yeah, looking at this split, the confidence looks completely different already against the other opponents. Do you feel like you can just take this confidence and have the same kind of confidence against the top teams?
I think we need to go into every game with the same mindset, no matter who we play against. We should take off the name tags, so to say. If we can just abuse the mistakes we see, play lane like we do, rotate like we do, I think we can beat any team. But if we overthink a lot of things, we play too passive, then enemies will just run over us.
But I mean, it's easy to say, right? And I mean, it's something you would say last split as well.
Yeah.
Can you maybe elaborate like what kind of changes you guys did, or maybe the coaching staff did, to actually walk the walk and not just talk the talk?
I think the big change we did this split was kind of how we approached our practice and our drafting. Because last split we would always want to try. We want to play this, want to play that, we want to play this, want to play that. We were always having so many different ideas of things we could play that we were kind of losing track of what we were actually good at and what we were playing. So this split we're kind of focusing a bit more on just what we're good at, and we're just gonna play what we can and then not look too much at what other people are doing. We're just gonna play the things that we know work for us, and not really just try to steal other people's picks or strategies.
So you would say you get your confidence out of preparation.
Yeah.
More this split.
Yeah, I would say that.
You guys are looking like a completely different team from last split, even though all the players are the same. You guys are really in your element. I think that this split, people are paying attention to Rogue. I mean, you definitely got some attention from people in Twitch chat. You definitely put the other teams on notice as a team to not be trifled with, and the LEC is noticing you too. Big plays from all of you this first Super Week. And
can I jump in there, because I feel like the LEC didn't have us on the radar. I mean, I always look through the whole broadcast after matches, because on game days I can't, because there's too much to do. But yeah, they had like segments about teams we should look out for, support players we should look out for, ADCs we should look out for, and none of our players was on there. I was so mad. I mean, it was the 3rd day already, right? And they actually had to address it, because, okay, the Polish community is a bit crazy, but they spammed them on their socials and everything. It's like, how can you not talk about Vander after these 2 days? He should be in contention, because they said something like there's 2 supports, Mickey and Hillsang, of course. And then there's Kaiser, and then there's a huge gap and nobody else, and only rookie supports, which is not true, right? Because Vander is the veteran support. And yeah, also Steven wasn't in the top 4 ADCs that they talk about. So I think we're not on their radar, and they're going to be surprised this split, I think.
I think that's also another thing, that unexpectedness. When you show up again next week, they're going to be like, oh, we probably should have said something. They're gonna feel sorry for not talking about the org in a higher light. So I'm excited to see how these next couple of games shape up next week. And Finn, I mean, even just speaking to you for the you know, past almost hour now, I feel like I can go into my next league game and maybe not play so crappy. Maybe I'll get one more KDA that I could, add to my ratio. Before we wrap up, I just want to put you in the spot, put you on the hot seat, just like you did me earlier. If you were on the league balance
Okay.
team for a day, you could change whatever you wanted about the game to make it either more fair or maybe more top lane focused. Maybe you want to throw a wrench in everything and just make everyone go like, what the hell is this guy thinking? What would you change about the game?
Well, first I would bring back the teleports cooldown, so it's lower like it was before. And if you keep it to turrets, it's even shorter, like it was in season 6. This was so good, but because of everyone else who's taking teleport, top laners got hurt the most because we need this summer spell to be relevant. I would maybe even go as far to say that only top laners should be allowed to take teleport. This would be a good change. Maybe not, but
Interesting.
I would like it.
So you would restrict the use of teleport to only top laners, and everyone else would kind of just have to fend for themselves. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know how they would implement this because it's really hard because of lane swaps and such.
Interesting.
But somehow they can make it work. Maybe.
What do you think about being able to cancel the teleport again? Would that be nice?
No. I like that when you commit to a play, you should commit 100%. You shouldn't be able to back out. So not being able to cancel the teleport is a good thing. I like it.
But it worked out pretty good for us the last game, right? When they canceled Steven's teleport.
Yeah.
Can you maybe talk about that? Like how?
Oh yeah, actually, I mean, I was about to get Div in top, and we didn't have teleport on mid. So the only teleport we had that could defend me was Steven. So he was like, okay, their wave bot was good, so he could look to teleport top when they were free manning me on the turret. And as they were diving me top, he teleported, so naturally the free in their top side backed off. But in the same time as they backed off, the enemy AD carry, I think, flashed forward just to cancel Steven's teleport so they could dive me. So in the end, we got the best of two worlds. He defended the dive, and also Steven didn't have to teleport top and lose farm bot.
And I mean, they wasted the summoners.
Yeah.
And then also Casper Inspired came down the lane.
Yeah.
And I think they zoned them off like 2 ways.
Yeah,
and
he lost so much because of this.
I mean, it was
So just a small miscommunication of the enemy team gave us such a huge advantage.
And that's the biggest. This seems to be the biggest differentiator between pro play and solo queue. Like if that happened to me, I probably would have just sat in fountain. Like you're able to capitalize off of such a small error, and it turned up huge for you. So that's crazy. Let's talk about your opponents for the next week and how you guys preparing to go into it with a winning attitude.
Maybe talk about Vitality first.
Yeah. So on Friday we'll play Vitality. I always thought Vitality was a team that had some high highs but some very low lows because of the players they have. I think Cabochard, the top laner, is very experienced and talented. I think their bot lane is pretty good. Their mid jungle looks better now than last split. So this is one of the teams where we need to just go in, be prepared, know what we want to do, and we will probably beat them just like last week. But we can't really disrespect them in any way because they beat. Who did they beat? They beat G2. Yeah, Vitality beat G2, and they beat one more team. I don't remember.
It was Schalke.
Schalke,
yeah. But do you feel like them beating G2 changed your perception of them, or your?
Not really. I think this team always had the potential to win against the best, but lose against the worst. So we just need to respect them, I think.
Okay. Moving on to the team that they beat, G2.
G2. Yeah.
What do you think about their week 1 performance?
I mean, G2 is probably gonna come in into week 2 with a very hungry aura because they went 1-2 the first week. It's obviously very disappointing if you're G2, and they're gonna try to beat us dominantly. That's what I think. So I think we need to be very aware of what they do because it's a team that we've studied a lot because they've been at the top for so long. So we kind of know what makes them so good. We just need to be very aware of it in game and not lose track of them, because if you lose track of them in game, they just surprise you on the other side of the map and then you're just dead. And then they start rolling over you. But I mean, it's going to be a tough game, but I don't think we're going to lose against G2.
But it's interesting that we always get angry G2 or not, because I think last split it was the same.
Yeah.
They lost 2 games, or 1 or 2, but they lost to Schalke, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then next week we have to play them, and then they get completely serious, no troll picks and stuff like that. And it's happening again. So, but I think we don't want to do it any other way, like have serious G2 and maybe we can beat them, right?
Yeah.
I think you guys are going to beat G2. I think there's going to be more upsets. I think this is going to be a very interesting split. Everybody has a chance to beat everybody, I think that Rogue is going to put on a good show. And, I mean, all you guys can do is play your best, and we'll see what happens.
Finn, I would like to know, because there's this new documentary we have, right, on YouTube, Rogues. What do you think about the first episode? Does it, really show how the team is and how your teammates actually, are as a person?
I think the first episode was really good. I think it was... I enjoyed watching it, even though I don't really always like watching myself on screen. It was... I think... especially Casper, I think, showed more of who he is in the show. Because usually in interviews he's so serious and quiet. But here he kind of showed his
The real monster.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to more of it.
Yeah. I mean, we had to edit 3 days straight. But we got it done. Thanks to Akinola as well for narrating the episode. So Finn,
can we get a little preview of what to expect for next time? I know there's a preview in the first one, but anything we should be on the lookout for?
So the next big topic for the next episode is going to be food. That was quite obvious, I think, after the teaser. So it's not just going to be the cooks, but also one of the players really likes to cook. Finn probably knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, Finn, did you recognize the voice when he started talking, is from the episode? We had this narrator voice.
Yeah, actually, I remember watching you back in 2014, 15 as well.
Oh, so you know him?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought only Venner knows him because
no,
you guys saw him.
I really like the patch notes, the TLDR.
Hey.
I was a big fan back then. This is Finn, when I was gold.
Should we bring them back?
The patch notes, yeah, we can bring them back.
We should bring them back. We should get the players involved. I think it'll be fun.
I mean, have some top lane changes when they change teleport back to it, and then have Finn comment on it. But yeah, I mean, if you guys like the section about Finn's career or how he got to be an esports pro, we did a 1.5 hour section, I think. Oh no, it wasn't that long. 1 hour about Finn in the first season, episode 1. So yeah, if you're interested into his career and his surroundings, his family and stuff like that, check out episode 1 of season 1.
We've got it's good. I listened to it. That's why I was a little excited to put myself in the ring and speak with you. You're the first pro that I've spoken to in this format. So, big fan, and I hope you guys keep doing big things. I'm excited to see what the 5 of you do this season and to talk to the rest of the players and hopefully all 5 of you in the same room. I'm not sure how we're going to do that, but we'll have to figure something out. Finn, thank you very much for taking the time out of your schedule. I know you got a busy day ahead of you, and Tien for also just Tien's everywhere. Guys, shout out to him. He's got his hands in everything, and I've learned so much about the org and just esports in the background because of him. And we're going to continue to show you what these players' lives are like on Behind the Hood. So thank you very much for
Under the Hood.
Under the Hood. See,
behind the mask, under the hood.
I'm getting fired. This is my last.
Okay, this is the last episode with Akinola. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Finn is going to be the new co-host next episode.
Guys, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.